Hello everyone. These Frangipani flowers have been painted in watercolors. Would you like to paint them along with me? Come on then. Stay with me till the end and let us see how they can be painted. This is the paper block that I will be using. These are watercolor paper stuck together at the four edges, and one corner of it is left free so that the pages can be taken out from this side with the help of a cutter. The rest of the edges are glued together so that they don't come off and remain firm in the block. It's easier to use because the paper doesn't warp in this way, and there's no need to take out the paper and tape it down to any surface too. And this is the watercolor palette that I am going to use. The shades used here are lemon yellow, chrome yellow, yellow ochre, scarlet red, crimson red, burnt sienna, sap green, cobalt blue, Prussian blue, and a little bit of black. You are free to use any brand of your choice. These are artist grade watercolors. I have marked out with pencil the composition of the flowers that I want to paint, and I am beginning the coloring work now. Now, since the medium that we are using is watercolors, obviously we are going to use a lot of water, and as you can see, I am wetting the surface of the flower area that I want to paint. I am wetting it with a wet brush, and over that wet surface now I am applying the colors of the flowers. Now these are frangipani flowers, which are called Chafa flowers locally. So they are going to have a little bit of yellow shade in the center. They are very pretty simple to paint really. So we'll be going about this way for all of the flowers. We'll be wetting the surface and applying the central color of yellow over it. Now this is called a wet in wet technique, where I am wetting the surface and then introducing color into that wet surface. And if you are a beginner, you would like to have a look at some of the watercolor techniques that can be used while doing a watercolor painting. If you want to know more of such watercolor techniques, then you could have a look at two of my videos earlier on this channel, which have all these watercolor techniques explained in detail. There are almost about 16 or 17 of them covered in those videos in two parts. I'm giving the link of those videos in the description, and you may have a look at them. Watercolor is quite a fun medium, really speaking. It's really fun to see how the colors merge into each other when we are painting them together, especially when we are painting in the wet in wet surface technique. And this is quite pleasurable actually. Beginners may feel watercolor is a difficult medium to handle, but it's not really so. If you practice those watercolor techniques, especially, you will really have fun along the way, and then when you will realize that it's not so difficult. So do have a go at it and have fun. Now, after finishing the first layer, I am beginning to apply more and more layers and adding more and more color, more and more shadings, and more details. This can be done either by slightly wetting the surface once more with a wet brush, or you could just paint the paint and then, with the help of a wet brush, simply drag the paint along one edge towards the outer side, which is what I am doing here right now. Ideally, the edges between two shades of colors should not be visible, which is why we paint in the wet and wet technique mostly. Or, like I said just now, you can simply apply the color and drag one of its edge with the help of a wet brush. That also works very well, but the gist of the thing is that the edge should not be visible. Now, for doing these kind of watercolor techniques, the particular paper that you are using, or the kind of paper that you are using, is also very important. Like I said in the beginning, this is a watercolor paper, and ideally it's a cold press watercolor paper, not the hot press one. The cold press one is slightly rough and the hot press one is very smooth. The cold press paper aids in these kind of blending techniques. The hot press one may not give you the blending effect as you desire. Now I am beginning to add the background, and of course using the same wet in wet technique. just that I'm using various shades of blues and greens along the way, and since the surface has been made wet, they are blending together. Or at times, if you feel that the surface has become dry and if you have already applied the color, like I said before, you can simply wet your brush and drag the paint further so that they do blend again. And so, in this fashion, let us proceed further and we will catch up in a while. Now here I am using the splatter technique, that is I am splattering some water from the brush loaded with water and also some paint drops I am introducing into the wet surface. This will give a nice texture to the background and it will not look too monotonous, it will not look too plain, and in fact it will start adding some interest to the background. We'll be going over and over the layers and add more and more shadings and more details along the way. So then let's once again proceed in this manner and we'll catch up in a while. And now is the time to add the leaves in the background, and here what I'm doing is I am using the negative painting technique, where we are simply painting the background around the leaves and leaving the actual leaf area blank, in the sense whatever paint we had applied before will show as the leaf, and we are simply painting in the background around the leaves here, and so that the leaf's shape is seen between the backgrounds and the leaf shape starts popping out. And so this is called the negative painting technique. And so after adding some more details, more and more shadows and stuff like that, we are coming to the end of our painting. And so that's it, our painting is done. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. Also press the bell icon so that you get notifications for future videos. Also leave your comments below as to how you liked the video and what else you would like to see. And click on the end screens displayed here above so that you can watch other videos. See you in the next video then.